All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. Let's have that conversation. The hashtag is Daybreak at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Send us your views on every single topic that we're going to talk about. It's the state of the race. Honorable Kibruta Rapkiro is here with us, Deputy Vice Chairperson, UDA. Dan Manzo is also here with us, Deputy Secretary General, Wiper. Thank you for making time. And Professor Tom Ojienda, Kisumu Senate aspirant, is also here with us in studio. Asante sana for making time.
Thank you, Trevor.
Let's start off with the Daily Nation. They're calling it cat and mouse. We see a lineup there: Martha Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Peter Kenneth, Lee Kinyanjui, Peter Munya. Now they've resolved to go for an organ that is picking a presidential running mate in August 9th, where they're going to discuss how this will be done. And Kibruta, I'll start with you on this, because also this may not be in your part, but UDA as well is suffering this headache. How are you going to deal with it on your side?
Thank you so much for this opportunity and a chance to be able to make some comments on the issue.
Yeah.
We've been consulting from last year, and more so early this year, when we are joined by our two colleagues from ANC and from Fort Kenya, with a view of getting a suitable running mate for the purposes of intensifying our campaign to clinch the post come August. And our consultations may not be structured in the format of ODM or Asimio, but structured on the fact that our party leader, or the deputy president, has a number of people who consult with him across the board, among ourselves within the party, and also other people outside the party, but who are also very key stakeholders of UDA. And the decision shall be arrived at an appropriate time. That we give the final decision to the candidate himself to decide who is the most suitable person to work with, somebody possibly who must have some good chemistry with him. Because this is a race that each hand must be strong as the other.
So on your side, it will not be a council decision, but the candidate's decision?
No, I've said that we've been consulting the candidate, and for quite some time, from October last year, on the possibility of who and what kind of consideration shall we have for a good running mate that will give us a chance to clean the ticket. So upon all those consultations, he shall be the final person to make the decision who his running mate is.
Okay.
So we shall not give it as fait accompli. That will be dangerous, and at times when we get these advisory councils, they end up listening to the ear of the leader. So they will not just say Trevor should be the running mate without listening to the ear of the leader. But for us, we've been also consulting with various regions. And we've been doing some surveys quietly to see the suitability of all the candidates who are willing and able to be part of us.
Okay. We'll get into the considerations for the suitable candidate in just a bit. But Honorable Manzo, are you happy with the decision to have the council decide on who the running mate is? Because Wiper was pushing for Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka to be the running mate. In fact, he himself said it's a rather obvious choice that he should be the running mate.
Yes, and I agree with him. Politics is a game of numbers. And unless you have the right numbers and you get the mathematics right, you are likely to lose the whole election. You remember, it's a very tightly run election. If you look at the proposed candidates, for example, Martha Karua is a very tough lawyer. She's best suited to be a speaker. You know the next house is really going to be also almost 50-50 and very tough to run for any speaker. So it really needs a very tough person. But when it comes to the issue of the deputy presidency, you need somebody who will balance with the numbers, you need somebody who will balance with the politics, and you need somebody also who will move around the country and bring on board the numbers. So the biggest question will be, what numbers then will any of these candidates be bringing on board? So it's rather obvious, and it's expected from the Wiper team and the Wiper followers that the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is the automatic deputy president. But largely, it depends on the candidate himself. If the candidate wants to be president, then they have to choose a deputy president who will bring the votes on board.
Prof, I had you chuckling there. You don't agree with the Manzo's analysis of the numbers?
I think Manzo is trashing the role of the advisory committee, Trevor. First of all, let me thank you for inviting me to the show after a very contested nomination in Kisumu. And I want to thank all those who voted for me, first and foremost. And as you know, Trevor, I won by by over 39,000 votes. And the second candidate, Rose Nyamunga, had 18,000, so a double. And then the third candidate, Yecho Luhya, had 10,000 votes. So at least we are on a clean slate. At least now I come to this show fresh from a tough exercise. I didn't know that politics was that tough.
This was your first experience, actually.
Yes, grassroots politics. Now, let me weigh in on this question of running mate.
Yeah.
First of all, to the calendar of IBC. The IBC calendar provides a framework that nomination for running mates for the presidency should be done 60 days before the election. So that should, if you look at the timelines, that would extend to 10th of June, 2022. That means that there's ample time to make a decision as to who the running mate would be.
Yeah.
So the appointment of an advisory council by the coalition partners is timeless, because there's enough time to gauge who the running mate would be.
Yeah.
It is not true, as a learned friend, the SG says, Manzo, that it should be a no-brainer. He's saying there should be a no-brainer. It is a Kalonzo Musyoka moment.
Yeah.
I think that the position that Wiper has continuously taken over time is that Kalonzo, having supported the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Baba 2 times, having run under different tickets with him, should be the automatic candidate.
Yeah.
That is what Manzo has said this morning. But I think it is only fair that the principles of democracy that underlie this process be adhered to, so that a choice is given to Kenyans to make a choice as to who the most popular candidate would be. I know that from the backyard of Manzo, Kalonzo Musyoka has under his belly about 2 million votes. I think that's almost uncontested. That is not in doubt.
Yeah.
And so Manzo is probably saying that if you bring in Martha Karua, whom he's now suggesting should be speaker, you'd probably get about 1 million or less votes from Mount Kenya. Peter Kenneth may be over 1 million votes. Lee Kinyanjui may be over 1 million votes as well. And Peter Munya is a swing as well, because then, if you then bring in Peter Munya, then you have the Meru, and you have the Embu, and you have some members from the Mount Kenya, because that's Mount Kenya East. So you remember there's that delicate balance.
Yeah.
That if you look at the deputy presidency of Peter Munya as a possibility, then you have that possible sway, and perhaps sway into a section or a bit or a cut of the Mount Kenya vote. I think it is a tricky exercise.
Yeah.
I know Kalonzo, as he says, perhaps would bring a solid vote of over 2 million. I'm sure he's happy to hear that. But I think the choice should not just be about the pure vote, but what factors, what inclusivity would the coalition bring in?
Yeah.
How do we balance interests of all communities in this exercise? I know that perhaps, and he has not said it, that the Nairobi gubernatorial race choice of candidates should perhaps be weighed against the choice of a running mate. If you have Igathe and Wanyonyi as a C in this equation, it is possible that a Kalonzo deputy presidency would be a consideration if you have Igathe leading the city and his deputized by Tim, and I believe Sifuna is the automatic senator and under this framework. This is my understanding. So I think it's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
But give the committee a chance to determine who is likely to be the most popular candidate upon a choice. But let's not rush into a Kalonzo deputy president, though, as I said, it looks attractive.
Yeah.
But attractive as it may be, let the advisory council do what it must. Remember, in Azimio One Kenya Alliance, we have 26 partners.
Yeah.
In the gazetted notice, 14th of April, 26 partners with a framework of leadership well set out. Kenya Kwanza of Mheshimiwa, you have 12 coalition partners. So it is harder to satisfy a group of 26 political parties than it is to satisfy a group of 12 political parties.
Okay.
My suggestion is this, that let there be no rush. Do not rush as the mere One Kenya lands to make a choice as to its deputy president. Right. There's sufficient time between now and June 10th.
Okay.
And I believe that the best choice would be for Baba and the Advisory Council to look at the tail end of this period as opposed to making the choice now. Okay,
you're mentioning 10th of June, but IBC wanted it to be 28th of April.
In the framework of the schedule given by IBC,
yes,
28th of June is for other positions.
Yeah.
Yes, but for the presidency, deputy presidency, there should be the time frame that I have from IBC is actually 10th, from 30th May to 10th of June as the tail end.
Okay.
So I think we need to give political parties sufficient time. They can do it anytime. I know that you can unveil your candidate anytime to allow for fallout and discontent and all those things. But it is quite clear that this is one task that the Advisory Council would have to undertake and that would not be subject to proceedings in any tribunal.
Okay.
That's the problem. But you cannot say that I am the one who probably will bring more votes.
Okay.
It is a decision of the Advisory Council. We will respect it. Let them have enough time.
All right. Honorable Bukiro, but we can't escape the numbers game, right? Yeah. There are those who are saying that all sides, none of you have a choice except to pick a candidate from Mount Kenya, because they come with the vote-rich Mount Kenya region. Is that a consideration? What would be the greatest consideration on your side?
Well, for me, there are a number of things. Who softens the ticket? Because at times there is what we call feel nice effect. That if Trevor is the running mate for Professor, he softens the ticket, he allows diversity of people. At times it is not just direct votes that we are looking for. We are looking for acceptability across the country. Remember, these are people who, once they are elected by Kenyans, they are going to be together for the next 5 years. So we look beyond the environment from which somebody comes from. We look at what does it mean for other Kenyans if, let's say, we pick Mr. A or Mrs. A. Instead of just saying how many votes is he coming directly with. You can come with direct votes, but you also make other people run away from you. So that is, for us, that is the most important consideration. And these are the discussions that we've had as we were making our instruments for the Kenya Kwanza coalition. We were discussing some of those pertinent issues. What does it mean when you get, Mr. A gets this? What is the proportion of the government? Is it going to go with that? Making sure that every ministry is weighted, such that if I get the deputy president position, how many ministries am I going to take? If I get another position, which is lower than that one of the deputy president, how many ministries and how many other portfolios am I going to take? What does it mean in the chemistry of the national cohesion and togetherness of the nation?
But then there's also those who are saying that temperament has to be considered. In fact, your candidate has been accused of going at loggerheads with his boss.
Well, temperament is also a subjective matter, and we need some social engineering to be able to manage people's temperament. Some people, when they get into office, the worst of their character comes out. And as it has been said before, it is not the office that fashions the person. It is the office that exposes the person and gives us some of the issues or some of the characteristics that we did not have before taking office. As they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So you may say so-and-so has a very good mien, is even-tempered and so forth, but when the rubber hits the road, the office has certain challenges. The way Professor said, he did not expect politics to be so full of intrigues. an office, like when I was in the ministry, before I went into the ministry, there are certain solutions that I thought they were easy to fix. When I got into the office, I lost half of my hair. Within 5 years. so some of these issues, they are more challenging than we see on the face of it.
Are you waiting for Azimio to first decide who the running mate is so that you make your decision? Because should they pick a female running mate, would you then also be compelled to do the same so that it's a level playing field?
I think Azimio is a good partner for us to square it out, but we do not want to wait for what they do. We have our own program, and I told you we started in October last year. We have what we call the political bureau, which I'm a member, and the other organs of the party, where I'm the deputy chair. I'm not the deputy vice chair. I'm the deputy chair of the party. And we consult. There is a technical committee led by some of our good experts in certain fields, economy, legal matters, and so forth. So there is always consultations and ventilations of issues. And when names come to the table, we are able to look at those names and make our recommendations. But I say the ultimate decision shall be taken by the party leader. Because we want somebody is comfortable to work with, whether it is a lady, whether it's a man, a young person, an older person than him. That is a decision that we can give him a slate of individuals that we feel they fit the bill, but it is he to decide who is best suited to work with him for the next 5 years.
All right. Honorable Manzo, many people are wondering, you keep insisting that it should be Kalonzo Musyoka. That pair has run before and they didn't win. What makes you think they're going to win this time?
They did win in the 2 terms. Remember, we were at the Supreme Court. And the answer was clear that they won the election.
There were irregularities. The Supreme Court didn't say they won. They said there were irregularities in the process. Those are 2 different things.
Yes, and you know, I have a lot of respect for the council. But you have to understand how politics work. You see, political problems need political solutions. As much as you may estimate the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka at 2 million voters, he actually would attract, and by his character, up to 3 million votes or so. And it means the same votes you attract is the same votes you are likely to lose if that position is not occupied. So as much as the council advises, I still believe the presidential candidate actually has begun to take all powers as a presidential candidate. In fact, you are the one who is in charge. You are the one who is to steer the destiny. You are the one who is to make the right decision. You know who you jelly with. You know where you are being forced, and you know where it doesn't work for you. And as I've said, this is a very, very tightly contested race. And Central Kenya is very slippery. If the Honorable Ruto makes a wrong decision, you'll be surprised how much you lose. If he makes the right decision, you'll be surprised how much he gains while we are making the wrong decision. So it's a matter which is very tight, but what is reasonable now and what is natural is for Honorable Raila Odinga to win, and I really want him to win because he has struggled for many years. 1, himself as a presidential candidate. 2, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka as his deputy. 3, Martha Karua as a speaker, and I can assure you Peter Kenneth is a good candidate for Treasury, among other ministries we'll talk about. And you've seen from Central Kenya, we have seen the Honorable Murathe say, we are no longer interested in the DP-ship, we are interested in ministries. I think he's very right and he's very experienced. He knows how many votes the Honorable Martha Karua can pull. For example, between Martha Karua and the current governor of Kirinyaga, Wainguru. Wainguru's character attracts a lot of people. You'll be surprised. She will attract a lot of people, and she will really pull votes for the DP, for example.
So you'd recommend her to run for...
No, I'm not really recommending, but I'm saying the sort of character. Look at somebody else like Rigathi. He has also something he comes up with, including threats, if you don't. That means a lot. Look again also for mature people on our side like Kimunya. Honorable Kimunya is not featuring anywhere, but I can assure you that is a person also who will surprise the team if they were thinking of him. But you can see they have ignored him. They are not thinking of him. And this could easily spell doom for Azimio. I can assure you, as a combination who have supported the Honorable Raila Odinga, there's a lot of expectation.
Yeah.
If he doesn't meet it, he will definitely get the reverse. He will be left with the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka alone, and we know what to do as voters. I have a choice. I can vote for him, or I may not vote for him. I have followers. And I've heard and I've listened to them, what in politics we call listening to the ground.
Yeah.
I can assure you, if Kalonzo Musyoka is not on the ticket, we will not vote for that ticket.
So you'll be voting for UDA instead?
No. Who may just abstain. I mean, the law can allow me to abstain. And you'll count the number of votes which have been abstained, and they will tell you what difference will have been.
Is that the situation? Because, you know, the other thing is, are you saying Mutua, Kibwana, and Ngilu, all combined, would not match?
They are totally inconsequential in Ukambani now. That's why the Honorable Ngilu has run away. She knows she cannot win the governorship. Honorable Kibwana is running against me. I can assure you I'll beat him completely with more than over 200,000 votes. He is even saying he's no longer now going to be in the national campaign. That's where he should be. He says he wants to concentrate in Makueni.
That's because he's working with Kalonzo Musyoka is proving to be very difficult. Ever since Kalonzo came into the coalition, he says that his working with him has been difficult because of his hardline stance, one of them.
Nothing stops him from beginning the journey from Coast to Garissa to northern Kenya to look for votes for Azimio. Nothing stops him. In fact, if he does that, he will be a very good candidate for a minister. But if he sits in Ukambani and I thrash him there, he will not face the national politics again. He should be with Honorable Raila Odinga in his tours and every other place he's going, and people should see his commitment. But the three governors are just malicious. They don't wish Raila well. They should just abandon Ukambani. Because the Kamba people have rejected them, they're inconsequential politically there. Let them look for space elsewhere. In fact, one of their foot is in UDA and the other foot is in Azimio.
that would be said of you, actually, because you're the one who's saying that if this ticket is given to Kalonzo Musyoka, then you will abstain.
I'm just telling the country the reality.
Yeah.
I'm just telling the country the reality. Whether there is a council, whether there is a presidential candidate, that is the reality. That is politics. Yeah. Politics is played politically. As a politician, I'm able even to mass all the followers of Wiper against. And I'm sure 3/4, 90% will listen to me as an individual and as a politician.
So now you're disagreeing with the council in advance before they even make their decision.
The council should be reasonable. If it is not
Kalonzo, whatever decision they come up with.
The council should not be malicious. It should not be emotional. It should not be run by the emotions of the Honorable Ngilu. It should just be sensible to political reality. There's no other equation. There's no other mathematics about it. It is just political reality. And politics is politics.
Okay.
It just runs as politics.
All right.
And I'm sure the Honorable Raila Odinga knows that very well. So he should not allow anybody to push him around. And I can assure him with the good nature and the trust of the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka by the country, he gains more by being with the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka than any other candidate. And then the good Mother Karua becomes number 3 in the country. Okay. We'll definitely win.
Yeah. Prof, what do you make of that threat of the Ukambani nation abstaining if it is not a Kalonzo Raila ticket?
I think, Trevor, listening to my learned friend, Mr. Manzo, who seems to be a political spin doctor, only speaks to one thing. It is not easy to be Baba. It is not easy.
Yeah.
Because then this is a tricky choice, a very slippery choice. He says if it is not Kalonzo, then the Kamba nation will not vote for Azimio. Well, that is a tough call. Sounds blackmailish, though. Well, I think they should allow the advisory council to come up with a formula, and especially if that formula then works in favor of Kalonzo Musyoka, it shall be well, because you cannot hold the advisory council at gunpoint and tell them it is either Kalonzo or nothing. I think that all these other candidates also present a good choice. And I don't know when Mr. Manzo became a character expert in saying that Martha Karua's demeanor does not augur well for the deputy presidency because she's
I did not say that. I think she's best suited for speaker.
For speaker, she's
a very good lawyer.
This is a speaker.
But you know how tough she is.
Yeah, she's tough.
She's a Pelosi kind of person.
I do not know whether a deputy president must be meek or complicated, because I think his party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, is also complicated because, you know, we had the 4th caucus in the coalition just before registration, and he raised issues about consultation. it is that it was the toughest member of the coalition to come on board. It took him, he kept everyone waiting at KICC for 8 hours. So it will not be an easy deputy presidency as well, because then the president has to deal with a deputy president, a reluctant deputy president. That's probably another consideration you should speak to. That Kalonzo Musyoka, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, has made it difficult for the coalition every single minute. So I think a deputy should be perhaps easy, you know. But Trevor, on a more serious note, I think the Advisory Council has sufficient time to make that choice. And I agree with Mheshimiwa Kipruto Rapkirwa that numbers play into the question as to who should be a running mate. Numbers.
Yeah.
And in as much as you must also consider character, because you also don't want to have a deputy president who will run away from you, abandon you midway the 5 years so that you start a fight.
Yeah.
You must ask what any of these people, each of these people, will bring on table.
Yeah.
It must be scientific, it must be tested, and I think it must also be objective. The Mount Kenya question then comes into play.
Yeah.
Whichever candidate makes a choice of a deputy from Mount Kenya is likely to run away with the vote from Mount Kenya. That is the reality.
So
and I think, that's the reality, that
yeah.
if you do not, if either Raila Odinga does not choose a running mate from Mount Kenya, it is going to be difficult to attract the Mount Kenya vote. But it's the same argument that Manzo is saying, that if you don't make a choice of a deputy president from Lower Eastern or Eastern, you lose that vote.
Yeah.
It's an extremely tricky balance.
Yeah.
Very, very tricky, Trevor.
But there are those who say that certain strongholds will not go, because you see, the thing is, in the last elections, realistically speaking, Raila did get votes from the Eastern, but did not get much votes from Mount Kenya. So then many people argue that his consideration should be the places where he did not have enough votes. Therefore, it's almost obvious that he should pick someone from Mount Kenya.
Except the tilting balance is, and I said, the Nairobi gubernatorial choice may play in for Raila Odinga, because then if you have a Mount Kenya governor, as we have now in Nigathe, that would play for a choice. And that would then give the second in command slot to Kalonzo. It is a possibility. That's a possibility.
Okay.
But also there's a possibility that Munya would be an interesting choice as well, in terms of newness and balancing between Mount Kenya and Lower Eastern, because you've never had a Meru on a #2 slot before. It would be a first, yeah. And perhaps would excite or cause excitement in the region, and would probably bring an equal number of votes if Manzo subtracts some. And I don't agree with Manzo that His Excellency Mutua and Honorable Ngilu and Kibwana have no political value. I think they have huge political value, except perhaps not on the same scale as Kalonzo Musyoka, but they will still bring some votes from Lower Eastern. I am sure, with a proper campaign in Azimio, even if the choice of deputy president were Munya or Martha Karua or Peter Kenneth, we can still get a sizable number of votes from Lower Eastern, including Manzo's vote.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Who are you considering on your side?
Well, I've just told you we've been advising the deputy president or our party leader,
yeah,
with a number of giving him a number of consideration.
Like who, for example?
But no. If I was to name one and I forget the others, I will be in serious trouble. Not with the party leader, but with the supporters of our dimension.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to confirm to Honorable Dan Manzo that I have not seen 3 legs in UDA. That is for the 3 governors. Yeah. Because he said 1 foot is in Azimio and 1 foot is in UDA. So I've been looking for the 3 legs, but I have not seen them.
Yeah.
But if they came our way, we don't mind, because every vote counts. And you know, the rule in the game is that 50% plus 1 vote.
Yeah.
That 1 vote of Ngilu or Dan Manzo would actually make a lot of difference. But as you know, Dan Manzo is known for many things, including running away with the certificate of ODM Kenya. So that is what he did. And the first time I knew him is when I saw a young man run away with a certificate. I thought it was not going to be serious business. ODM was forced to think of another dimension. Yeah. So the other issue, on a serious note, is the softening of the ticket is balancing all considerations. That's what I meant by softening of the ticket. Because at times when we have two individuals who almost have similar character, that ticket clashes. And it's likely to be a faulty ticket. Okay. But when you have somebody either younger or older than either of the candidates, they are likely to soften the ticket because the chemistry will be better than when you have two individuals who are almost competing for the same space, competing for the same issues, and competing for the same aspirations, but also having some internal conflict between themselves. So my take is that as we advise our leaders across the board, perhaps it will be obvious that whoever the Honorable Prime Minister will pick is likely to be younger than him. Yeah. But I also would expect somebody who will bring some different value, because the Honorable Prime Minister, until the other day, is known to be very vigorous and is hands-on person. So you would need somebody who is slightly laid back for purposes of ensuring that there is complementarity of the ticket.
When you say until the other day, you mean he's no longer the same person he was?
No. Of course, age is catching up just like me. Yeah. Yes, I was very vibrant 30 years ago as a member of parliament, but now I have to go slow on a number of things, including coming to the studio in the morning.
Okay, let's raise another reality, the two-thirds gender reality, because the running mates now have a chance to sort of even that out from the top echelons. Yes. Should this be a consideration? Gender factor. On your side, there's Waiguru, there's Wahome, there's Martha Karua on this other side. Should this be a factor on its own so that we deal with the two-thirds gender rule?
I think it's a very important factor, and that's why you've realized that we have a number of governors who are female, and where the governor candidates on our side have been male, we've encouraged them to get female candidates for running mates for purposes of ensuring that we include our ladies, not just because of the mere optics, but for the fact that they contribute slightly more than us in terms of national building, including the fact that they are 52% of our population. So this should be one of the factors, but it should not be an exclusive factor. You might have a man who can bring more value to the table than a lady. So it is not just going to be a flower girl. She must also bring to the table something tangible, something that we feel many Kenyans will resonate with.
Okay. Yeah. And Manzo, would you be convinced if a running mate was chosen because of that factor, and then the substratas of other things that they bring on board comes almost secondary?
What I'm already proposing is exactly that. No, it's not final. Exactly that. I'm saying the Honorable Raila Odinga, number one. Yeah. The Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, number two. The Honorable Martha Karua, number three. Isn't it not, is that rule not been made from the top? That's the best. And I want to tell Professor that the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka did not keep anybody waiting. Instead, he was kept waiting. And these are the intrigues in politics. About the ODM Kenya ticket, you know, I did free work for them. And when it came to determining a few things, you remember that time the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka was showing as a possible winner. When tables were turned, we also turned the tables. And I was actually taken to court by the Honorable Atende Omolo and TJ Kajwang. Yes. And we won the case before Justice Alwoch. Yes. And she said I was a chair. Yes. And that's how we nominated the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka to vie for presidency. Because that's what was barred at the High Court. And things went on like that. But that was rectified when we later on supported Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, supported Honorable Raila Odinga very heavily. And that's what I'm saying, from the history we have, it will be very unfair to disrupt that history, and to disrupt that history will definitely have consequences. If anybody, and there is anything, who will support with a lot of experience and with a lot of obedience, who will support Honorable Raila Odinga, is Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. If he misses out that together with his council, then politics and history will teach him a different lesson.
But what about these obstacles that he's been putting all through?
There are no obstacles. They were put by the likes of the Junaids of this world. There are other troublesome shooters around Honorable Raila Odinga. And those are the likes of Ngilu and the likes of the three governors who should just accept that the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka has brought them up politically and is their leader. Up to today, the Honorable Kivutha Kibwana is still a member of Wiper Party. And he became governor of Makueni, courtesy of Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. Mutula Kalonzo Jr. was a better choice in 2017. We would have dispensed with him a long time ago. So when the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka has been kind enough to make him governor, he is here now complaining over nothing. Whether they like it or not, the boss of the Lower Eastern is Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. He commands the numbers, they command none. Especially now when Mutua is exiting and Kibwana is exiting. How many people can they bring on board? I can assure you they will not even order a single rally in Makueni.
They won the governorship respectively. Mutua.
We helped them. Mutula stepped down, went back to Senate.
Mutua won Machakos. I'm talking about Ngilu and also Kibwana. They all won.
The Honorable Ngilu was with the help of Kalonzo Musyoka. The Honorable Kivutha Kibwana was with the help of Kalonzo Musyoka. Mutua was a 54%, and we went to court, and the Supreme Court, at the Court of Appeal, we had overturned that election. But there were a lot of negotiations, and other things happened at the Supreme Court, and, you know, definitely the country was not in the mood of, you know, a lot of by-elections, because it was running the country down. You know, also the court has to balance. Finally, on Munya, already we have, in the balance of things, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya is already from Meru. Definitely that we can never have Munya as a deputy president. He has not even resigned as a civil servant. So there's no way he can participate in politics. And again, we need to look at the official period of campaign. When does it begin? Because by that time, I believe you must have the deputy presidents in place. If you don't have, then something is wrong.
I'll come back with you on this, Prof. But let me take a quick break, then come back with the comments on that. And then we'll also talk about the nominations and how it all turned out. All of you have issues around it, but we'll come back in just a bit. All right, keep your views coming at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. See you in a bit.